we're nearly at a half century, 49 episodes, and it's live. Ben's here. He nearly forgot, but he's here.
Well, I did forget.
So you didn't even nearly forget, you just did.
But I was sat in podcast mode when you text me and said 5 minutes. So I was like, oh, perfect.
That's the thing. With all great content creators, they're just ready to go. They're ready to produce content, and that's what you were this morning.
Mate, I was desperate. I almost texted you and said, come on, I need to do a podcast right now.
Yeah, it wasn't like I messaged you before bed knowing you probably forget, saying like 11 to 8:30 podcast, and you were like, sounds good.
Yes, that never happened.
It's alright, yeah, delete the message. Didn't happen, mate.
It's good. Oh, mate, something happened to me last night, which...
I know it did. I was obviously going to bring it up, but the floor is yours.
So, we decided to go to the supermarket and pick up like a few bits and bobs to eat out and about last night. So we went and had some food out and about rather than being in the house. It's something a bit different. So we're walking around the supermarket. Oh, I need some bread. And Sally came up to me and was like, "Oh, how about are you happy?" I think it was like a French stick. She said, "Oh, it's only 25p." And I was like, "That is absolutely ridiculous. Like Shaky's going to love that." And I walked around the corner, and there was like a tiger loaf.
Yeah.
Heavily seasoned though, like salt and pepper. It was actually advertised as salt and pepper loaf. I was like, "Oh, that looks good." 8p, mate. 8p.
8p.
I was like, even if I buy this and just throw it straight in the bin, it's still good value.
Even if you use it for like a sword fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like 8p.
Yeah.
So I thought you'd appreciate it. I thought you'd appreciate that.
Is it? Does it taste nice?
It's lovely. Well, I mean, it was made that morning. They're not allowed to keep it out on the floor. Once they bake it that day, it's got to go, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it does.
I should know that because I used to work in a supermarket and I did do a brief stint in the bakery.
I mean, in your defence, that would have been before 2003. So, I mean.
Oh, mate. So far before 2003.
Yeah, like 2001.
2000.
Really? Was it like a Summerfield or something?
Started in obviously we won't go down this stretch for too long because it's deadly dull. But there was a co-op, a Morrison's, and it was a Summerfield, but it's now a Waitrose in Bridport. And basically, 16 was the age where you could start working in the supermarket. I lived opposite the co-op.
Oh right, okay.
But did Morrison's because it paid the most money.
Wow,
so
God.
Even back then, my business acumen was
amazing.
on point.
I had this image of you in like a corner shop. You were boss man, so like let's say someone would come to you with like a 4-pack and they're like, "Marlboro Goals, please, mate," and you're like, "Yeah, sure thing. Cheers, boss."
It's just like a 4-pack, just like, "I only want 2 of these." "Yeah, just rip it open and take 2, mate. I'll just charge you some nominal fee, don't worry."
Oh, you don't even have the money? Just take it, mate. I still get paid.
Absolutely fine. Oh, 8p, have it.
Yeah, no worries. Free money? Yeah, fine. That sounds fun.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
I watched a lot of golf this weekend, did some workouts.
Oh, mate, so good. Oh, I won a golf.
Did you bet on Thomas?
And I had Justin Thomas and I had Connors each way, and he finished 7th, and he was 70-1. So that was
seriously.
Yeah. So the golf was good to me this weekend.
Oh, that's amazing.
Cheltenham not quite as good to me yesterday. It's always difficult day one because it's always a day of like favourites, and I never bet on favourites. So
yeah.
It's always a bit of an uphill slog. I'm betting on like places for Cheltenham, but I managed to keep the betting account alive, so I'll drain that today.
I ran a personal best for 3k yesterday as well, which I was pretty happy with.
All right, hang on a second. 3k PB. I'm hoping that's under 15 minutes.
Are you taking a mick?
No, it's only 3k.
I mean, lad, I'm insulted by the prospect you even think I'd run anywhere near a 5-minute kilometre.
All right, go on then.
I think it was 12 minutes 30.
Jesus. Well, I said not over 15.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's like saying, oh, well, I'd hope you qualify for the Open, Ben, if you're a real tennis player.
Well, that's different because I automatically qualify for the Open.
Yeah, but I don't automatically run 12. Whatever. I don't know where this is going.
Well, it's different because you've had to get out there and run that time. Like,
yeah, I know.
If I at the moment, if I enter the British Open, I'm in.
I'd hope you'd be able to hit a railroad as a +8, Ben.
What? joke's on you because I can't.
Nah, you can. Don't be silly.
That's a ridiculous time.
One of them practicing, but I'll never run again once gym's open. So that's all that needs to happen.
I just can't do it. It kills me.
Oh, and also,
I've got some kind of issue with
some
my
disorder.
right hamstring.
Some disorder. I can't
Well,
run.
I've got some kind of issue with my right hamstring, which doesn't affect me in any walk of life. Doesn't involve me doesn't hurt me in like the gym. Doesn't hurt me on court. Never
not court.
Anything. Although actually, having said that, my right hamstring was knackered leading up to the eliminators.
Yeah, it was.
And it's the same thing. So it's just not got better. But running absolutely slaughters it. I can't walk for 2 days after I run.
Wow.
So I just don't do it.
I did one final thing before we get onto the topic. So me and my dad, we were in the office on Friday. My dad's got this thing where he does like 10 press ups every hour. And so I got him doing like
I love that. That's
I know.
Just like mid phone call, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, the alarm's going off."
I was like, "Dad, are we doing some press ups now?" I was like, "Yeah." So we were both doing like clap press ups. I didn't even know he could do it, but he can do clap press ups. I was like, "That's sick." So obviously I sent like a Snapchat of him doing clap press ups to loads of my mates. But obviously you're not on Snapchat.
What's a flat press up?
A clap press up, like when you like clap.
What's a clap? Sorry, I thought you said a flat press up. I was like, as in chest to floor. I was like, isn't that a press up?
No. Like when you clap.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Like your family, like probably the four of you combined have about 12% body fat.
And the rest, yeah. But one of them.
So like, should be doing clapping press ups for fun at his weight and level of leanness.
One of them. Yeah, exactly. Shows that even when you're busy, you can still do a workout, guys. There we go. Maybe we're just not busy.
I mean, there is literally no excuse.
Yeah, there isn't. There is no excuse. But looking forward to readers next month. Anyway, onto the topic. So,
mate, potentially not readers next month.
What's the crack there? Don't do this.
Like April the 12th. Apparently, it's looking more like a no than it is a yes.
Who said that?
Well, the team are speaking to the LTA and stuff, trying to get.
No, I know. I saw some post, but I mean, I saw some post which basically said it's not a yes yet.
Yeah, and I think at the moment it's like the closer it gets, like the more of a no it is.
That's so bad. That's upsetting.
Well, who knows? Hopefully it won't be the case.
Grow up.
It strikes me as being particularly, even if it's just lessons only or same household, it strikes me as being particularly bizarre that you could have one person, like the way Leamington did it, for example, like the front door was locked, so you could only be in the building if you were on court.
Yeah.
And if it's one-on-one, like Chris and I didn't overlap, so I would do like 4 lessons in the morning, he'd do 4 in the afternoon, that was it, and then we'd go. So like there would be literally me in the building, you would come and knock on the door, you'd come in and play, and that would be it, and then you'd go.
Oh mate,
don't
remind
bizarre. me. Well, it seems to be it'd be quite bizarre that you wouldn't be allowed 2 people in a building of multiple rooms.
Would you not be able to do that? Yeah, like surely they'll just allow that.
But they're going to open the gym.
I mean, I'm not complaining about the gym, but yeah.
As in, you could walk into Fitness First and have 50 or 60 people around you, but you're not allowed to have a one-on-one game of reelers. Potentially.
Mate, honestly, the state of the Conservatives at the moment, they're passing some weird bills, increasing stuff for sex offenders, but not allowing real tennis. I mean, ridiculous.
Priorities.
It's priorities, yeah. But yeah, I hope real tennis will be back on April the 12th, mate. I'm always positive. Right. So yeah, we've
Golf's back at the end of the month. That's more important.
Yeah, no, exactly. Golf is, and cricket. Right. So my idea for this was we're going to do real tennis awards, as far as your memory goes. So I just want to hear like your thoughts. Ben doesn't know what I've written on this piece of paper.
Oh God, yeah.
So I'm just going to hit him with an award, and I want him to think of his thought process and then an answer.
Okay. Are you ready to give your thoughts if there's a period of silence while my cogs are turning?
Mate, I think you'll find I'll fill the gap. We never have silence on this podcast.
Fine.
We'd be the sign of a poor podcast if there was ever silence. So yeah, right. Okay, let's kick this off. Okay. Guys, I want to hear your suggestions as well, home. So yeah, we'll start off. Ben, what is the best shot you've ever seen ever in any match? But it has to be like a match. It has to be a competitive match. What is the best shot you've ever seen?
Oh my.
And think of your reasoning. Think of stuff that's coming into your head right now.
Well, the first thing that springs to mind is Ross Brown hitting a shot in New York, but it wasn't it was the funniest shot I've ever seen in my life.
That's not the best shot. That's the funniest.
Um,
I know the story.
The best shot I've ever, just like an isolated one shot.
Yeah.
Something that springs to mind. Again, I'm literally brainstorming out loud. Was James Stout was playing Tom Weaver in the US Pro Singles years ago, and Stout obviously didn't have a clue what he was doing, just barely knew the rules, and was just out there doing his thing. And he's kind of nudging it around and retrieving and stuff like that. And then I think Tom served him a railroad, and he just unloaded this backhand like Main Dead on, and it was so much quicker than any other shot he'd hit I'd ever seen. I was just like, he hits that harder than I hit my forehand force.
Yeah, because you don't see many
Where's that been hiding?
Yeah.
So that's probably biggest shot.
What about
Stout hit a half volley between his legs off the timber.
Oh wow!
Down to chase 3 or something at New York. That was pretty special.
Not that I was there,
against, but Bring US Open final.
What about Woodman against Kevin Sheldon?
Yeah. So I was marking British Open years ago. I did it was when the TNRA very generously, and they don't do it anymore, said if you can turn up and mark a few matches in a day, and there's a call out fee of a few £100 or something, and then you get paid to mark as well. So it was a good earner. I think I was seeded, so I was I'll come in and do the first day. So me and Cam shared the first day, and anyway. Kevin Sheldon's playing Dave Woodman. Sheldon's still good at this point. He's still low single figures. He's in the Open without qualifying, but he's definitely on the way. He's on the way down. And Woodman's obviously a bit of a power player, and I think Kevin does his usual and slides in a chase half a yard, because that's pretty much that was bread and butter for Sheldon. Second chase is better than two. And I remember thinking okay, right. Watch out, Kevin, because this is obviously going to be more Route 1 than usual. And Woodman's just tanned this ball down the middle, and Kevin's got his racket in the way and volleyed it back, but he's got his racket back quite late, so this ball's looping over towards the timber or something like that. And I've just seen Dave Woodman take a step into this ball, this dropping ball. I can't emphasise how steeply dropping this ball was. And he's just absolutely laced a backhand volley straight down the line, into the top corner of the dead on. And I was just oh my God. If that has gone straight at Kevin, I think he's dead.
Not the fact it's the greatest finish ever.
Well, literally dropping ball, and he's just ripped through this ball. The timing of it was insane. The pace was insane. I was just I think Kevin was just literally shot. Turns around, picks up the next ball,
wins the game.
That sticks out as a good. That's a tough question.
Right, another one.
Because I'm immediately going to be, the moment we finish this call, I'm going to go, oh, what about
Yeah, I know.
I've never even mentioned Tim's hit some ridiculous shots against me, for example, and obviously Rob's hit some absolutely ridiculous stuff against me.
A good one, a classic, would be obviously Rob's winning gallery to win the World Championship, but that's obviously just too standard.
Well, do you know what? I'm not going to dumb that down by any stretch, but
that's a sick shot.
It's the situation that makes that shot better.
Yeah, I know.
Don't get me wrong, it's obviously not a bad shot at all, but he would have done that a lot. I've done that a lot, but I've never done it in a World Championship final, so the situation makes that shot better. But that's part of it, I guess.
Yeah, I know. So, right, what's out of all those you named, and honestly, with best shot, everyone's seen a different shot, haven't they? So, what is your best shot off the top of your head?
All right, well, I'm going to have to go for the Dave one, because it's just the one that I bring out.
Yeah, it's a great story.
The Stout between the legs, half volley for the timber, that just popped into my head. It's not something I obviously remember it, but go on then. Dave Woodman, best shot of all time.
I'll take that.
That seems bizarre to say.
No.
It seems bizarre to say that.
Not at all.
Well, there should be a disclaimer that, like, obviously all of my answers are going to be rubbish because I've had zero.
Yeah,
my preparation time is after you've read it out. So
one sec, I'm just going to have to literally open a door for a roofer, so I'm pausing this. And that is why these things are recorded live, honestly. Obviously, there'll be no gap there in the actual recording.
Exactly. You know what's going to be funny is that it's literally going to be like, I'll be back in a minute, and there's going to be a half a second pause, and then you're going to blurt in with that.
I know.
It's going to be quite funny.
I know. Better than silence, isn't it? I was generally like, oh, God, I'm going to have to go. But yeah, no, best shot. You've decided, Dave Woodman. I don't mind that. It's a good story.
All right.
Okay. Next question. What is the best win you have ever seen?
Rob Fay against Camden 2018.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree with that too much.
Or in terms of biggest surprise, based on handicap and stuff like that?
No, because that's a separate question. So we've got best win and best upset, and then the next two questions.
All right, okay. Best win is Rob against Cam 2018.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
Well, I think like I think if you'd asked every real tennis player who knew what they were talking about, who didn't just play it on like a Thursday night with a mate and it was just a hobby, anybody who's like involved in the real tennis world, if you'd asked them, you'd have had a lot of people saying Rob because their heart wanted Rob to win. But if you asked everybody, if you said, "Oh, who's going to win?" Like, "Oh, Rob's going to win." You'd be like, "Right, okay, you've got to put your house on someone to win." I would imagine 95% of the population would have gone for Cam, including Rob, maybe.
Mate, I was convinced Cam was going to win. Convinced. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you just look at the form over the last whatever years, and yes, Rob defended his title against Cam.
That was 2 years before.
Yeah, well, he lost 2 years before, didn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But the time before that was Melbourne, I think, and that was potentially a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
To a lot of people because of Cam's form and stuff. So when Cam won it in 2016, I think everybody in the real tennis world could have been forgiven for thinking, right, that's the
end. That's the end. Yeah.
Like that's the passing of the baton.
Yeah.
So I think what people have to take into account with Rob winning in 2018 as well is that up until then he'd always been the champion, so he sat in the final and he had maximum time to prepare, and he'd had months where he could.
He'd never played an eliminator.
Exactly, he had to go through the elimination process in 2018 just to get to that World Championship final. Yeah. So that was. I remember chatting to him after because I'd hit with him at Queen's when he played Brit.
Yeah. Great match.
Not exclusively, but a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then when he won, he was like, any chance you could come and do a few sessions at Prested? Because I'll have to play. I don't know if Steve had already won at that point or not, but he was like, do you want to come and do a couple more? And I remember speaking to him at Prested or something like that, and I was like, oh, how's the training going? He goes, well, after I beat Britain, I suddenly thought to myself, oh God, I actually better try and get fitter. Do you know what I mean? If I'm going to go, if I'm now in this process, I can't just turn up half-assed. I've got to try and get fit. He said, so I went and did just a squat session in the gym last week. Yeah. And he goes, I basically couldn't walk for 3 days. So he's like, right, well, I've left that too late. So I'm just going to have to park that and just go out, just wing it.
That's quite funny, to be fair.
But yeah, I mean, it's got to be, isn't it? I think it goes down as obviously it's tough. You can't put it down as one of the biggest upsets because it's a World Championship final. And he's got there, but it's the best win I've seen.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Just because the odds were so stacked against him.
As a surprise to me, I never thought he was going to win.
Yeah, it was straight. I reckon I was. I mean, he's obviously going to be very confident internally. He's not going to just turn up and think, no way. But, I was kind of hearing, like, kind of hearsay and stuff that, he wasn't going to win a set. And I kind of said to him, like, on multiple occasions, like, when we finished, he's like, all right, well, there we go, let's see how it goes. And I was like, well, mate, you're definitely getting on the board at least a couple of times. And he's like, well, I haven't won a set off him for a couple of years or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but you're, like, the way you play the game, all you've got to do is turn it on for 15, 20 minutes, and you can roll him 6-1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. If, with Rob's kind of modern day style, if he just, if it works for 15, 20 minutes, that's a set. So I was like, all you've got to do is hit a purple patch for 45 minutes to an hour at some point over 3 days, and you're going to get a couple of sets in.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think that's
right.
I think I was a bit more clinical on that one.
Good, best win. What about the best upset, the biggest upset?
Ben Taylor Matthews versus Bryn Sayers, British under 24s. Bryn's just got back from, I'm setting the scene here. Bryn's just got back from Newport. He's been out there for, 18 months, 2 years, getting his handicap down. He's the next big thing. Like, he's going to be the one that's challenging for the World Championship after Steve has taken it from Rob. Comes back from Newport, playing off about 1. Donkey Taylor Matthews rocks up from Bridport, hacking around off about 13. Plays Bryn at Middlesex in the first round of the under 24s, rolls it 4-4. Cheers.
Wait, so you're off? Yeah, is that the best upset you've ever seen?
What's the one? Well, I saw it because I was there.
Was Bryn gutted?
Yeah, no, but I remember his dad coming up to me and just being like, "That was amazing, like really well done." And I was like, "I'm so sorry." Like, obviously that shouldn't happen. Like, Bryn should win this tournament. Like, that we're all here so that Bryn can win this tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you ask for like biggest upset or most, something like that, you've got to be taking into account things like that. That is a 11, 12 handicap point difference playing level. And that's not, this isn't like a 50 against a 60 where the volatility level is high. Like, and the way Bryn plays, like, he's not going to suddenly have a nightmare and play off 10 points worse than his handicap, is it? That's not Bryn's style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So steady. So anyway, that's one for a laugh.
What other upsets have there been?
I guess it would be classed as an upset of John Dawes beating Dave Woodman in the European Open.
Mate, I remember that. Drew getting to a semi of the Open, beating Nick Wood.
I think the thing with Dawsey is it was less of a surprise to me because I worked with him and I was like, you can win this.
Yeah.
You definitely have the game to, like, you can definitely trouble him and beat him. I think it's probably more of a surprise to other people than it was to me and Dawsey because he was, we were practicing a bit then.
Yeah.
I think the reason that goes down as a big surprise is not necessarily because of the golfing handicap, but Dawsey won't mind me saying this, over a 5-set match, Dawsey shouldn't win that.
Yeah.
Like, his body should not hold up or his fitness should not hold up for a 5-set match. So to beat him in 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was, that's him putting his body through the mill for like 2.5 hours. That's a strong effort. And that's probably a bigger win than, like, my silly under 24s thing. Because in a best of 3-set match, it's a race. Whereas a best of 5,
yeah,
that's a slog. And purple patches don't work in a best of 5.
What about you against Rosa?
Where? What, Manchester?
Yeah, that wasn't an upset.
Well, it was an upset because of his world ranking compared to mine, but I think that's a bit of an unfair one because he'd been down in Melbourne not competing for a bit and his ranking was still there, but he obviously wasn't what he had been a few years before. It was a great win. I enjoyed it. Was that a semi-final?
Yeah.
So that got me through to the final. Yeah, that's right. Because I was in the ILTPA Championship final when I was like playing off like 0 or something.
Spooky. But yeah,
I got chopped, obviously.
Yeah, cheers, Rob. Biggest upset.
I tell you what, I've never had somebody put in a nicer performance against me.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, think about it. He's like, right, you're some little gimp who's nowhere near my level. I could just absolutely pull your pants down in front of everybody. But I could have tried my heart out, and he could have absolutely destroyed me at that point. And he didn't. And he kind of, I wouldn't say engineered, but he probably he would have coasted through like 4, 3, and 4 or something. And I remember saying to him, my husband was like, thanks for that. Like, he's like, no, not at all. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure it could have been like love one and love if you wanted it to be.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, like think about it. He was the world champion, and I just had a good win against Rosa, but I wasn't anywhere near like if I play Rob now, I like.
You'd lose the same. You'd lose 3, 4, 4.
Like I expect to win. I might not, but like I know I can compete.
Yeah.
And like I have beaten him. Whereas back then, you would have just been like, right, okay, this is damage control right from the one go.
Yeah.
But it's good because you just play with freedom because you're just like.
Biggest upset, right? Okay. Well, I mean, the 2018 World Championships up there. Other than that, I'm just trying to think of someone who's just like somehow won a match. Like, what? How's that happened?
I mean, Drew getting to the British Open semis was a great run years ago, but a bit different because Queens is a bit of a weird.
Vergona getting to the semis when he was 18.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it really, other than the fact that it happened. So I don't know. I've taken your question as a one-off match upset.
No, I agree. Same here. Anyway, but yeah, what your final answer can be you against Bryn.
Well, that's the biggest handicap.
Shock.
Discrepancy, but it wasn't exactly on a major stage, so I'm going to give it to Dorsey.
Nice, I like that a lot. Always love a like John Dawes or Woodman reference. It's just like
give it to Dorsey.
Like these Twitter accounts which are like 90s football, like niche players from Serie A. Like John Dawes is one of them, in my opinion. He's a bit of a Recoba.
That was mate. I was watching.
Sorry, we had a bit of a technical issue. You were watching what?
I was watching a programme yesterday on best debuts of all time, and Alvaro Recoba got number 2.
Really?
Yeah, for Inter.
What did you score a hat-trick or something?
He was on the bench, and it was Ronaldo, like the Ronaldo.
Yeah.
The Ronaldo's he was the big money move there and stuff like that, and everyone waited to see what he could do. Inter Milan were 1-0 down, and Recoba came off the bench and bagged a brace for a 2-1 win and made his first goal. It was like a 30-yard screamer into the top corner.
I've got a Recoba figure. I'll take it.
Have a look at that. Find it.
I will do.
Afterwards. Recoba debut for Inter was insane.
Nice. Right. Good. We've got the biggest upset. What is the biggest comeback you've ever seen? Comeback. Bryn against Rob.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's got. I mean, basically, I was like, I can't think specifically, but it's good. It would. My brain immediately goes to Cam or Steve for like the countless 5-set matches they had over about a 4-year stretch.
It's not like an overt comeback though, is it? It's just like a tight match.
Well, yeah, but there were a lot of times when somebody was 2 sets up and the other person won. Like that happened on a few occasions. So that rivalry is one that springs to mind immediately, but I guess you can't ever. I don't know too much about it. I can't remember the scoreline or anything like that. You probably know more than me, but there's
the Bryn game.
It's got to be the Bryn one, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was
like 6-1, 6-love, 5-1, 40-15 down or something.
Yeah, did he save like 13 match points?
And 1 in 5.
Mate.
Well, it has to be, isn't it?
It's beyond.
Who can argue with that?
It's beyond belief.
And that is why he was the brain of the cyborg.
Yeah.
He was heart and fight, wasn't he? Desire.
Indeed. That comeback's the best ever. I remember because it was still at a time when it was like that silly like commentary thing, and someone was doing like typing commentary. Do you know what I mean?
You did block out. You said that they were doing the silly commentary thing.
The commentary thing, yeah. So it was that typing. I don't know what it was. It was like, I don't know what someone.
Oh yeah, God, that was so irritating.
But that's how you saw the score.
Yeah. I mean, it was obviously like it was valuable at the time, but God, it was just torture, wasn't it?
Primitive.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah.
You used to be able to type in though. It's quite funny. I remember doing that a few times.
Well, you still can. YouTube.
So I remember once during that game, I don't know where I was, but I typed in pretending to be Rob McNaughton, and Connor was on the commentary, and and he was like, I typed in with something like, "Oh yeah, Rob to win 3-love," and Connor just went, "Thanks, mate." And I was just like, fucking classic. Anyway, good. That is the best comeback, right? These
Well, it's
next,
got to be right. I think we've just kind of we've talked about the other awards in like a bit more depth and they're a bit more silly, but like we can't, we're going to gloss over that one. But that is an insane win.
Yeah, I know.
From that position.
Yeah. Right. Well, the next 4 awards are a bit niche. So the participation award. You know that kid that gets like the medal for participating. The best trier. You know the award I'm on about anyway.
Ben Taylor Matthews, 2010 to 2012, qualified for the World Championship just through literally turning up to every single event and making a quarter and a couple of semis.
Exactly, having a negative bank balance but made the World Championship.
just literally keep turning up again and again. The best trier.
The participation award. Someone who entered. Someone who lost first round. I don't know. First round every time, but still entered.
Somebody that's just always there.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that's always there?
Ryan Carey.
Right. Do you know what? I'm gonna give this award to somebody, but I'm gonna change the parameters of it because we've opened it up as a slight. You're poking a bit of fun at somebody here, a little bit.
I don't even know. I was like, yeah, it's just an award, isn't it?
Yeah, but it can be seen as a bit of a poking a bit of fun at somebody. I'm gonna change it and say that I'm gonna give it to somebody who genuinely deserves recognition for their efforts in real tennis, and that's Kieran Booth.
Mate, yeah, I love. Yeah, well, I never see that as a negative award.
No, but you know what I mean. It's the like. You kind of advertised it as like the kid in PE who could never actually win an award for doing anything.
I mean, that's what you actually think it is, but it's not. It's not
Sportsman of the Year award. But Kieran Booth, for years and years and years as an amateur, has trawled the planet like tournament after tournament after tournament, like training 6 a.m, like finishing work, going straight to the club and stuff. Like, and as an amateur, I can only imagine how much money like that cost. I know that Melbourne have been a bit harsh on him in the past about certain things, which I won't go into, and he's never moaned about it. He's just got on with it, and like, you're not going to call it the participation award, but some serious recognition needs to go to KB for what he's done for the game.
Agree. Right, okay, we're going to speed through these next 3. The fan award. Who's the best fan? Because it's an award on the FIFA website. The fan
Tom
award.
Pugh.
Serve up. R.I.P.
Who do you? Audrey Young.
There are other ones though. There are loads of fans. Temple Grassi.
Temple Grassi, like Savannah Pullman. You think, Tim Pullman. You think of the diehards.
The names roll off the tongue. The season ticket holders.
God, you could just.
Freddie.
The thing is, I never know who these people are supporting.
I never know who these people are.
I don't know. You never really know who this. Alistair Curley travels. Hasn't missed the World Championship, for example.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty special effort.
Should we give him the participation award? No, not the participation. Should we give him the fan award then? He's been to every World Championship. Is he the only one who's done that?
Let's give. Well, I don't know, but let's give Alistair Curley the fan award.
Yeah, for all the World Championships.
Yeah, that's a solid effort.
Yeah, that is. Right, we've got 2. We're going to go with like the women's equivalent because obviously like we're all about equality on this podcast. So.
What do you mean the women's equivalent?
No. So like,
it doesn't sound like a very equality statement. But anyway, carry
on.
No.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish. So obviously we're not just going to talk about men's tennis. So we're going to have like 2 awards for women's tennis. So even though it's really, I mean, Claire, you could say she's the best ever because of like the handicap and whatever.
Well, sorry.
She hasn't won the most championships.
She is the best ever.
Yeah, no, yeah, she is. She is.
Sorry, there's no discussion to be had there.
So we can talk about Claire as the best women's player ever. She is.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so the thing is, for those people that would say, well, she hasn't won the most championships yet. Yes, she hasn't had time. Exactly, like that's only a matter of time. She hasn't had time to do that. So yeah. Well, the most successful player of all time is Rob Fay, right? And the second most successful player of all time has to be Claire, doesn't it?
Yeah, she's won the most Opens.
Yeah, so she's the second most successful person of all time. And if she keeps going, there's a chance she could be the best. She could be the GOAT.
Yeah, and my award is potentially for like the closest or the best depth in real tennis ever. Potentially could be like the mid-90s in ladies real tennis. Literally anyone could beat anyone.
Yes, that was very good.
That was actually something I thought of. I was like, that's the best depth in real tennis ever. Like in terms of the top 8, like anyone could beat anyone. I was like,
well, yeah, because when you go, if you look at like the era of all that kind of era, you would always have Rob there. So you could talk about like in terms of the men's game in the 90s. You know, you had like Opens were being chopped and changed around all over the place, like Lockie, Wayne, Rob, Julian. Yeah.
Michael Gooding.
So fantastic depth, but yeah, exactly. But the moment, if you had to look at like their level of play or whatever, Rob was. I think it was a good era because Rob wasn't at his total pomp at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look at imagine what a ladies' world championship final would have been like when it was like Penny and Charlotte, and they were basically level on handicap.
Even the semi-finals, it's like whoa,
it would have been brilliant.
Any of these 4 can win.
Would have been great.
Trust me, that's the best.
I think what if you look at like the top level of any sport, what you want to see in the final is a match, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, when you watch like Wimbledon, you want to watch like you never want to watch Djokovic. You want to watch Federer and Nadal in a 5-setter. That's what you want. That's what you want to see. And when one of them loses, like in the semis or whatever, you kind of think like, that's not. It's a shame. It's exactly the same in relays, isn't it? Back then, you would like at the moment, people want to see Cam and Rob in a world championship.
Yeah.
And they're being made to wait, but they will see it. That's what they want to see. And back then, you would have wanted to see Charlotte against Penny, surely. Don't get me wrong, like say the depth was good, but they were number 1 and 2. That's what you would have wanted to see in a final, wouldn't it?
100%. No. Well, that
2 massively contrasting styles with those 2 as well. That would have been a fascinating tactical watch. That.
So yeah, those are some awards I came up with. Yeah, that will probably be that. We can talk about Melbourne now, but you happy with your choices?
I'm sure I could find better examples given time, but I'm happy with all of those. I'm happy with the diversity of people that are being awarded.
Yeah, good. Everyone.
I'm actually quite happy that it's not just like, oh yeah, we'll give that one to Rob, this one to Cam.
Yeah, best shot.
So we've got
best win, Rob.
Dawes, Bryn, KB, Claire, and what was the last award?
Well, there was a fan award, Cone.
Oh yeah, Cone. Well, I think it's a good
spread.
It's a good crowd.
Nice. I know. Yeah, good little fans. So we are now. What?
No, go on. Sorry, carry on.
I'm running this show, you know.
Exactly.
So we're now going to talk about Melbourne, the final court in the world we've talked about. Can you believe it? We've done the entire world.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Mate, we've done the whole world.
I'm not having people going, oh, you haven't spoken about Fairlawn. Or simple, let us play there then.
Yeah, I'll happily play Fairlawn.
Yeah, more than happy to go and play Fairlawn.
But I need to do Hardwick
like
first.
Greentree or Lakewood.
Yeah, I need to do Hardwick first.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Yeah. That should be the first one on your list to strike off. I think I've done I think the only one in the UK I haven't done is Falkland.
Mate, I will be doing Hardwick as soon as COVID allows. I'm just going to speak
Well,
to
yeah,
Liam.
and I was just thinking to myself, like, God, when I'm allowed to go and play elsewhere, like, where do I need to tick off? I think Falkland's the only one in the UK, apart from Fairlawn.
Oh, it doesn't count. It's not in England.
Anyway.
But yeah, I will be playing Falkland as well. But yeah, we're talking about Melbourne. We've both been there because we were there together when the podcast started.
RMTC.
Yeah.
I think it's been there since like the 70s.
Yeah, that's right. Built in the 70s, I think.
It was in the city first, right? And then they moved it out to Richmond.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Real tennis has been in Melbourne longer than 50 years.
Oh, right. They moved the court.
Yeah, they moved the court out to Richmond.
Spooky.
Would have been, I'll tell you what, if there's one club in the world that is known for that is like just all about business and money, it's Melbourne.
Wow.
I don't mean that in a critical way. Like, I think they're always looking at the possibility of like, could we move again? Could we basically sell up this place, build another facility that's even better, and still end up like with a break-even bank account? Like, they're always thinking about
That.
like this club security and stuff like that, and how they can make the club, as wealthy as they can, so that it's just to secure its longevity, basically. So I don't mean that in a critical way at all.
No bad thing.
If you're running a business, you want security and longevity, right? And that's what they do.
Yeah, 100%.
I obviously never saw it when it was in the city or anything, so I'm not actually sure where it was, but
Yeah.
there's talk of another one in Melbourne, further out to the west of Richmond. Somebody, I'm sure, will be able to fill us in on a bit more details.
Like Leamington and Morton.
Well, the MCC are interested, in another court, I think, or they were. There was like some pretty heavy chats about it, and they were going to talk about getting another one in like eastern suburb, and maybe kind of affiliate between the two and stuff like that. So obviously, because the real tennis world has effectively died over the last year, I would imagine that's kind of
there's
all the
bigger
talk
things
of that's
to
like
about.
quite in down. So I'd be interested to know what's happening in that project.
But yeah, no, fundamentally about Melbourne, 2 courts.
Yes, 2 courts and a good 2-court facility because they basically play the same.
Yeah, they do. I agree with that.
Which is very good, and it's, I imagine, very hard to do. So they've done very well there. Such a nice court, Melbourne.
Oh, it's well good. I think it's like my favourite in the world.
I've had like some really good runs there. That's probably been my most successful court.
Could be.
I made 2 Aussie Open finals.
Mate, that is a peng court. That is so nice. It's so nice. Like I've generally that the 3rd day when we practiced, that is the best I've ever played. I've never played better.
It's just so good.
Mate, you can just time the ball.
It's quick. It's true. The ball comes on the whole time. It cuts down. You get rewarded for good shots, but it's not impossible.
No.
Penthouse is nice and flat, so it's quite easy to volley off.
Yeah.
Takes a railroad really easily. You've got loads of height for high serves.
Doesn't get
it's just a very, very nice place to play.
Doesn't get cold.
Doesn't get cold. I've played there in some barbaric conditions.
Yeah.
I remember playing in the World Championship doubles final there, and there was an absolute monsoon. So Melbourne's like famous having all 4 seasons in a day.
Yeah.
And we played. It was me and Snowy against Rob and Steve, and there was like an absolute monsoon, huge temperature change, and the court was getting a bit like sweaty, and it was the rain was so loud on the roof that basically Frank was marking from the dead on. He would have to shout the score, like literally shout it to somebody who was at the service end. They would then have to like run up to the net and shout it across the net to somebody else who'd come up to like hazard second, and then that person would have to obviously report the score to their partner. Like, it was so loud.
Was it uncomfortable to play in, or did it not matter?
Yeah, it got really sweaty. It got really sweaty, and we basically weren't very happy about playing in it. And a person who shall remain nameless basically kind of forced it through. And I don't know whether we finished the first day or whether we just basically, I can't remember whether we finished the first day or whether we just said, oh, look, this is stupid. But we were under pressure by the person organising to continue.
Nice.
That's all I'll say about that.
That's not just Melbourne though. They've got a cool club room, like a bar. A gym.
It's a
The
really good
gym's good.
social area, isn't it? So you
Yeah,
walk in
well.
like at the top, and the pro shop's on the left, which is kind of like a open desk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Change rooms down the side. You've got the two courts which are sat next to each other, one slightly higher than the other, so you've got a few steps down. You've got the bar area, big like drinking social area behind the glass, and then behind that, like on the outdoors, you've got like a big barbecue patio area, swimming pool.
Swimming pool.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I remember the first time I went there, I thought to myself, I didn't enjoy it that much, and that was mainly because of my own sheltered existence, where I was just painfully aware that I was pretty much the furthest point on the planet away from home, and because of the time zone shift, I was like, I'm literally shutting myself off from England entirely, and that was quite a weird thing to get my head around. So I didn't really enjoy my first year, but every time I've gone back, I've liked it more and more and more, and I absolutely love it there.
Yeah, it's mega. It's sick.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Anyway, club is absolutely amazing. It's got everything you want.
We talked about the court, didn't we? We talked how it plays. Pretty quick.
It's just very good. It's just very good. It's very warm.
Yeah.
I've played. Like I said, I remember playing Rory there when he was like so good.
Yeah.
And I flown all the way down. I think we played at 1 p.m. and it was 42 degrees outside or something.
Oh my god.
That was bad. That was a tough day. But do you know what? What's the difference between 35 and 42?
Nothing. You don't notice.
It's just hot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hot.
That is true. I think once it gets past like 25, it's just going to be hot.
Yeah, at 35 or 30, you're like, this is hot.
Yeah.
So you're already uncomfortable. So 40, you don't suddenly go like, oh, it definitely feels warmer.
Yeah, it feels like 40.
It's still hot.
Players who've come from Melbourne. Did Frank come from Melbourne?
Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie.
Frankie Filippelli.
Who else?
Or Kieran.
Did he come from Hobart? Didn't he come from Hobart?
Oh, sorry, it is Hobart. Yeah, there is. God, this must just be a conveyor belt. What, Chappers?
Chappers is a big one from Melbourne. Yeah, definitely. Graham Highland maybe. Wayne did.
Hobart.
Wayne came from Melbourne. Wayne Davies.
I think
Not that I know.
I think generally speaking, every good Aussie realist player goes through Melbourne at some point, but they may not be from Melbourne originally.
Yeah.
Like Kieran's now at Melbourne. Rob spent a lot of time at Melbourne. Like the Williams brothers are both based in Melbourne now, but from Ballarat. There must be more. I apologise to any obvious Australians that we're that we're missing here.
I can't think of any. Mike Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a good player.
Brett Richardson.
Oh yeah, gone.
There's literally a conveyor belt of single figure and better players from Australia. They just don't mess around with sport, do they?
Sadly not, no. It's not about participation as much as it is in England.
No, they are just all in.
No bad thing.
I wish the natural English mentality was much more severe. I think we're getting better as a nation. Like you look at the Olympics and stuff over the last.
Yeah, we are. We're a lot better in the Olympics. We used to be terrible. You look at the stats from the 90s. We actually rinse medals now.
Well, yeah, I think the big thing is there's a lot more professionalism in there, isn't there? Like people that are good at sport can now do it.
So here's one for you. The first
Olympics,
slightly weird off topic from Melbourne, but I remember first watching the Olympics in 2004 and we were pretty terrible. And then in 2008 and 2012 we were just absolutely gone. We're literally top 4 in the medal table. We've gone from 9th to top 4, and it's
have to be the biggest overachievers in terms of size and population. Maybe not population.
Not population.
We're not quite populated, but
no size. And I think yeah, it's how on earth we do it. All of a sudden.
Well, it's been a shift in mentality. That can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I know.
We're not. Well, hopefully, we're not just the plucky Brits that try hard. God, there you go. Who's the participation award? Give it to England. Yeah. Give it to Great Britain.
Yeah, exactly.
Not anymore, hopefully.
Anyone from Great Britain. Right. Okay. Melbourne, amazing. I will be going back. Ben will be going back when we're allowed. When Australia lets people in.
Favourite bit of Melbourne? Favourite part of the club?
Apart from the gym, I think the favourite thing I like is you can just go and have a swim after you play.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty mega.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more.
Just
I mean, you can do it at a lot of places.
No, I know you
Generally
can, but I
speaking,
think at Melbourne it's
but
just so
generally
easy
speaking,
to do.
like the American clubs, you can be doing it in the winter for the US Open. So there is nothing better than coming off court in Melbourne, literally walking into the change rooms, dropping your rackets off, shoes and socks off, pick up a towel, get down to the pool, shirt off, fall in. Like you go from court to pool in less than 60 seconds.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Do you know what? I've said it about. I think I said it about Hobart as well, but just there's quite a lot of politics there which annoy me. But if you put that to one side, the welcoming. In fact, the best bit about Melbourne, I'll tell you right now, is the protein.
The protein shake.
Protein.
I'm joking.
Jonas and Frankie.
Yeah.
And nothing against Woods Casey or anything like that, or Chappers who's there now, but Jonas and Frankie, if you ever want to walk in to a club and just be greeted always with a smile and a how are you, and people that are generally invested into you and their members, those two are an absolute dream team.
Yeah.
And I remember the same thing when I went to Philly for the first time. Robbie, I was a young kid, first time over there. Every day when I came in, he's like, "Hey Ben, what did you get up to last night?" A genuine he'll give me 5 minutes of his time, even though he didn't have to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the welcome you get at Melbourne is amazing. But yeah, I think that's it's not necessarily a cop out. It deserves a mention. Absolutely, I think the best bit about Melbourne is the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
The layout there is just perfect. With the viewing area, with the bar in behind the glass bit, and then you've got the outdoors, which is you can see the tennis from outdoors. You know what I mean? If the curtains, if the blinds are up, which they very rarely are because of the light. If you're outside, you can look in and stuff. It's the perfect venue. The way it's laid out, it's the perfect venue for stuff like Boomerang, Aussie Opens. So,
not wrong.
Props to the architect.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever that was, Bickley. But yeah, no, that is Melbourne. I reckon we've done the whole world now.
What's your favourite?
Club?
That doesn't actually work. I was going to say, what's your favourite court or club in
You've
only done Ballarat and Melbourne, haven't you? So.
I mean, Australia, yeah, well, Melbourne, I guess. But I mean, Melbourne's probably my favourite in the world, mate. I'd go back there. Just was well fun when we went. It was so good. Melbourne's amazing.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Great part of the world.
But yeah, hopefully I'll do all the courts in the world one day.
Well, let's get don't get ahead of yourself, mate. You need to go down to Hardwick first.
Yeah, I know. Hardwick first. That's first on the list. Right, Benoit. Apart from playing Sunderland on Football Manager, taking them back to the big time with Niall Quinn, what are you doing today?
Not much. A bit of a stretch. I've got to write a quiz.
Write a quiz? For the boys, yeah.
Got to write a quiz. Do a workout. I'm doing that this afternoon today. Try and change it up a bit.
Nice.
I've been not much really. I'm going to try and chill out because the last couple of days I feel like I've been coming down with a bit of man flu. So I'm trying to.
Could be COVID.
It could be. I'm going to try and do not. I'm going to still try and maintain doing some kind of exercise, but I'm going to.
Tell you what, mate, you might be you might be on the next on the list to receive the vaccine. You're a vulnerable group.
Do you know what? I'm going to let you have that because you're saying it publicly, and a lot of people are going to hear this. But do you think I haven't heard that already?
No, you're a vulnerable group, mate. You've not won a major.
Well done.
That was where I was going with that one.
That makes you ridiculously vulnerable, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, I'm so vulnerable.
You should have had yours twice over.
Mate, I need 2 shots.
Well, I mean, I guess on that basis, Cam will be waiting a while.
Yeah, he will. He's last on the list.
What are you up to anyway? Off to work?
Yeah, off to work then.
Changing people's financial lives?
I've actually realised, so a few of my mates have got jobs, and I think, God, why didn't I work for my dad? Should I have got a normal job? And then I see what they do, and I'm like, what I do is so much harder. It's
not necessarily just that as well.
I know.
If you've got a situation where you can ease your way into work, you've got some pretty cushy hours and stuff, and if you are eventually deciding to be the heir to the shape an empire, then why wouldn't you? Not saying like you've got it easy, but if you've got an opportunity to move into like a family business and take it on, like that's a great thing to do.
One of them, yeah. But yeah, just going to work, get home, work out, watch Chelsea, get to the quarterfinals, and yeah.
Who are they playing today?
Atletico Madrid.
Oh, it's Atletico, isn't it?
Yeah. Which will be good. Can't wait for that. But no, next week's going to be a special episode, guys. You should be excited. You should be. Isn't that right, Ben?
Unconfirmed, but yes, get excited.
It will be a good episode. It will be good. Trust me. Right. Until next time.